Hello, and thank you so much for joining today's webinar, which features the future of tourism in Abu Dhabi and Dubai post-COVID-19, hosted by the NYU Alumni Association and the School of Professional Studies. My name is Michelle Lubicic, and I'm Assistant Director of Special Events at NYU. On behalf of NYU, I just want to thank you for joining us for today's special program. Now, before we begin today's session, please know that all of us at NYU hope that you and your families are safe and well during this time. And again, we're so thankful you've chosen to keep learning from the collective knowledge of the NYU community. Today, our audience sends a couple of chats in there from all over the world, from the UAE, USA, China, Canada. We have Sweden, and that what makes NYU a special place, a place of creative community from all over the world to connect and reconnect with each other, a place where everyone feels welcome. So it's great to have you here. Today's session features our expert panelists from the NYU community, and we are so delighted to hear from them. And again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and to provide us with valuable information we're about to hear from you. Now, before we move into today's discussion, I would love to introduce our expert panelists. But forgive me, I'm going to have to read a little bit of their biographies because their background and expertise is so extraordinary. So our first presenter is Soraya. She's the head of North American Market at Dubai Tourism, the principal authority for planning, supervision, development, and marketing of Dubai's tourism sector. She graduated with honors from New York University with a master's degree in tourism management and also has a master's degree in marketing communications from Birkbeck University of London. Welcome, Soraya. Great to have you here. Nadia is a trade meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibition executive at Department of Culture and Tourism for Abu Dhabi. She is based in New York City and is a graduate of New York University with a master's degree in tourism management and has a BS in tourism hospitality from Temple University of Philadelphia, which is located in the US. Welcome, Nadia. Tariq is the Senior Manager of Destination Marketing at Expo 2020 Dubai. Tariq oversees and manages the marketing, investment, commercial partnerships in the Middle East, North Africa, Americas, Southern Europe, which consists of Italy, Spain, and Portugal, for the Expo 2020 Dubai. Great, welcome Tariq, great to have you. And Tarab is the president of the NYU Alumni Club, the UAE, head of hospitality at Raw Real Estate Investments. He holds a master's degree in hospitality management with a major in asset management from New York University, a bachelor's degree in hotel management from Swiss University. He also attended Cornell University, Cornell University School of Hotel Administration, Hospitality Development, Financial Management, and Hospitality Marketing related programs. Welcome, great to have you, Tariq. And last but not least, my wonderful moderator, Lynn. Dr. Lynn Minard is an academic director and clinical associate professor at Jonathan M. Tisch Center of Hospitality at New York University. And she's the main coordinator for putting all of this together. So Lynn, thank you so much for your leadership and your dedication at New York University. We appreciate and value you so much. So thank you so much. And last but not least, John Pine, who's the Director of Alumni Relations and Annual Giving located at NYU Abu Dhabi. We can't see John today because he's actually in the audience. He's going to enjoy the program that he helped coordinate. So John, thank you so much for your assistance. It's always wonderful to work with you. If you have any questions during your session, please enter them in the question box below on your screen, and we'll get to as many questions as we could at the end of the program. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our wonderful moderator, my wonderful colleague, Dr. Lynn Minard. Lynn, take it away.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm so delighted to have you with us. It's yet another COVID-19 seminar, I guess, because it's a topic that's at the forefront of all of our minds. And of course, our industries, tourism, hospitality, event management have been severely affected by this pandemic. However, this is a hopeful seminar. This is a forward-looking seminar. We will be touching on a range of different topics. First, we'll be looking at tourism in Dubai specifically. Then we will look at Abu Dhabi. We'll also look at hospitality in both of these destinations, and we'll touch on, of course, the Expo 2020, a major event that everyone was greatly looking forward to and getting updates about that. So without further ado, and being so happy that this panel includes 3 of our alums, I want to introduce the first one to you, Soraya. So you represent Dubai Tourism. Can you tell us a bit more about the current situation in Dubai? Is there a recovery plan, and what kind of measures are in place right now? Oh, we can't hear you, Soraya.
Sorry about that. I said, thank you so much, Lynn. It's such a pleasure to be here, of course, back with NYU. We do have a recovery plan in place, which I'm going to take you through this presentation. But before we do, I just wanted to mention that, the UAE was one of the first countries that took precautionary and stringent measures right from the start. We were very restrictive in order to avoid the spread of, the virus, and therefore we have relatively low numbers in the UAE. Our health system as well is, very mature and high quality. And of course, we're very prepared to manage the pandemic. And so if you could please go to the next slide. So as of the 21st of June, the UAE had conducted over 3 million tests and is ranked in the top 10 globally for COVID-19 testing. The safety and security measures adopted by the city, as I mentioned, are very, very important. So it's just, of course, to ensure the safeguard of our residents and visitors among, of course, the most stringent and sophisticated taken worldwide. If you could please go to the next slide. So this is data that we gathered from Deep Knowledge Group. And so the UAE has emerged as a global leader in adopting transparent and effective measures to safeguard its residents. So we were actually ranked as number 3 in terms of testing in the world. And just to put it into perspective, the only other 2 destinations that have done more testing than the UAE are Monaco and Gibraltar, and both of those places have under 40,000 residents. So what this means is that all of these tests mean that, of course, our numbers are very accurate, and that way we're also able to contain the virus in a much more diligent manner. If you could please go to the next slide. So the UAE was also ranked among the top 5 countries with its highest ranking in emergency preparedness and monitoring and detection. So again, this is data from the Deep Knowledge Group. And so the UAE has always prioritized the safety of its residents and visitors. Dubai actually was ranked as the 2nd safest city in the world 5 years in a row by MasterCard Global. So, safety has always been a massive priority for us as a destination as well. So if you could please go to the next slide. So of course in Dubai, we had a phased approach for our reopening. We had step by step to see sort of how things evolved. Of course, one of them was being the first phase, which was the pause, where we first learned about the pandemic and we had limited information. But what was great about Dubai was, as I mentioned, we took very, very strict and stringent measures right from the start, even before we really understood what this was all about. So that way we as a destination saw the bigger picture, and all of the people and all of the citizens in Dubai were also very respectful of all of these different restrictions that we had put in place. So together as a destination, we ensured that we did our part and we were responsible. So we all stayed home, worked out of course, home, took this time to sort of reflect and stay in touch with our key partners. And then of course you reached phase 2, which is our current situation. Where we started expecting flights from Emirates to resume, and started noticing, of course, the return of some of our residents. And now we're kind of approaching the last and final phase, which is our full reopening. If you could go to the next slide, please. So on the 7th of July, Dubai will actually be reopening its borders. So we're going to be welcoming international tourists starting the 7th of July. So of course, with this, this will be, of course, according to the Dubai Airport's official flight schedules, as well as, the departure destination that people are coming from, depending on the rules and regulations that they have there. And we have a lot of great information, and I'll also be linking some really great tools and links to, direct you to some of these great sources as well. So if you could please go to the next slide. So just an insight of the current situation in Dubai right now, we have kind of approached this new normal that everyone's calling it, where now the entire government sector, 100% are now working out of offices. So Dubai Tourism actually went back in full force 2 weeks ago. So we're all working out of the office, which is great. So, you know, this kind of gives us nice insight that we're reaching that next phase of, you know, coming to this new normal, as I mentioned. Hotels and private beaches are all open. Public beaches also are open. Our vital sectors, of course, the airports, restaurants, retail sectors, as well as different entertainment and tourism attractions, of course, all with precautionary measures. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So again, some of the restrictions that we have in place are, of course, that the public are required to strictly follow all of these different measures, you know, because even though we have relaxed the situation here, we of course still expect everyone to do their part and be responsible, as there is still a pandemic going on. So one of them being, of course, maintaining physical distance from others as per guidelines, wearing a face mask at all times, gloves are optional, and then every single establishment or venue that you enter, you'll have to undergo temperature checks. So even us every day when we're going into the office, we have to go through temperature checks. So again, you know, this is very much in line with us just ensuring that the safeguard of our public, you know, health is all very much under, you know, sort of guarded. If you could please go to the next slide. So a few things about what we as a destination did to ensure the safety of our citizens. One of them was we actually had an incredible disinfection program. So the Ministry of Health, Prevention, National Emergency Crisis and Disaster Management Authority, and the Ministry of Interior implemented this national disinfection program, which was in collaboration with relevant federal and local authorities. So this specific program at one point was a complete 24-hour sterilization program. So at one point we were all, you know, under this very strict, you know, lockdown. And then after that, of course, they started easing those restrictions where it went from, you know, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily to then 8 p.m. And then it, you know, it now just finalized basically on the 24th of June. So we started this on the 4th of April. And this included everything from public utilities, public transport, all of our metro services, you know, of course, our retail outlets, all of them went through this basically strict disinfection program. So if you could please go to the next slide. So again, now that we are opening up our borders to tourists on the 7th of July, of course, more information should be coming this week. Some of the requirements that tourists have to, of course, adhere to are the following. One of them is that they have to have a full entry visa. You know, they have to meet basically the full entry visa requirements to visit the UAE. Tourists must also have medical travel insurance covering COVID-19 before traveling. Tourists also may either show their PCR test that they've done at their own home, which is only valid for 96 hours, or they also are able to get this test done in Dubai once they arrive at the airport. So you could either do whichever one you want. Another great thing is actually we've lifted the 14-day quarantine. So when you come into Dubai from the 7th of July, you no longer have to do this 14-day quarantine. Of course, if you do end up getting tested in Dubai and you end up being positive, you will then have to, of course, adhere to the 14-day quarantine. However, other than that, you won't. Also, a declaration must be signed to bear all costs of quarantine and treatments and complete the health, basically, declaration form before departure, including ensuring the passenger has no COVID-19 symptoms. And then you will also have to register all of your details on the COVID-19 Dubai app on arrival. So these are some of the requirements right now. And of course, every day the situation keeps changing and new rules and new things get more relaxed. So I'll also be sharing a link with some great tools as well to sort of stay up to date with the new developments that are happening here. And if you could go to the next slide, please. And then finally, before I hand it back to you, Lynn, I just wanted to talk also a little bit about Emirates. So in response to the latest developments of COVID-19, you know, of course, Emirates actually took extra steps that went above and beyond the industry and regulatory requirements to ensure that its customers' health and comfort are basically the top priority. So they've been pioneers in doing an excellent job in ensuring the safety of, you know, passengers. So it's all a massive process. This tourism journey, we've managed to ensure that we've touched every single touch point of every single tourist's journey to Dubai. So some of the things that they've implemented are they go through a deep sterilization program before and after every single flight. There are dedicated crew members on board to hygienically clean the bathroom every 45 minutes on flights that are longer than 1.5 hours. Cabin crew are also in full personal protective equipment. Boarding is now also in smaller groups. We have food and beverages that have been hygienically prepared and sealed at this point in time, as well as, of course, some of the other things like the duty free on board is currently not available. But all of this is, of course, to ensure that tourists are safe. Also, the economy class cabins, the middle seat compartments have been taken out just to ensure that there is still some social distancing. So thank you again so much for this opportunity. If you just go to the next slide. We're here and we're doing everything that we can from our side to ensure that we can welcome tourists back with confidence and basically start the tourism industry again. So thank you so much again, and I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Soraya. That's a really comprehensive overview of what seems like a rigorous recovery plan. What we will discuss next is how that looks for Abu Dhabi. What I do want to remind our viewers is if you have any questions, because I know we're going through this at a fairly steady clip, if you have any questions, do please use the chat box or the Q&A function, and we will come to them at the end of the presentation. But before that, Natia, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Will you go through some of the measures that Abu Dhabi has implemented, please?
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and healthy, first of all. And thank you, Lynn. Thank you, entire NYU team, for this great opportunity. I'd be happy to go through some of the measures that Abu Dhabi Tourism Department has done in Abu Dhabi. First of all, I just wanted to say and follow up what Soraya has just mentioned. In late March, the UAE has launched the National Disinfection Program as part of the preventative and precautionary measures taken by UAE to contain the spread of COVID-19. Schools and universities are closed for the remainder of academic year. Sporting events, festivals, and large gatherings have been banned, but we have some exciting news to share in a bit. So I'll go in the next couple of slides and share more information about that. As Soraya mentioned, the UAE ranks first in the terms of screening per capita in the world. And another great news is that on 24th of June, the entire country announced the completion of the National Disinfection Program, which obviously includes all of the 7 Emirates, which is a really great news. Now, if we can move to a next slide. So just a couple of days ago, Abu Dhabi announced the launch of its strategy for the tourism sector, which has been created in anticipation for the return of tourists worldwide. The capital has been gradually easing stay-at-home measures after its proven success in curbing the spread of COVID-19. Hotels within the Emirate has been undergoing rigorous sanitation from the beginning of the March, leading to the reopening of the properties after they received the clearance and certification from our department, from DCT Abu Dhabi. And we also shared the detailed guidelines with the Emirates hotels in preparation for granting approvals to reopen the establishments like restaurants within the hotels, lounges, bars, beaches, pools, and gyms. And most recent initiative launched by our department to address the need for elevated standards of health and safety is Go Safe certification.
Natia, we can't hear you.
Unique program that hello?
We're good. We lost you for a second.
Okay, sorry. So again, to go back to the Go Safe, will focus on hotels and entertainment establishments to ensure they are in the best shape to receive the visitors. And the W Hotel is the first hotel in the Emirate to be certified. So as part of this first stage of reopening, a number of prominent cultural sites managed by our department officially reopened to the public on 24th of June, following the months of COVID-imposed precautionary lockdown. In its first phase, DCT, our department has reopened the Qasr Al Hassan, which is the oldest building in Abu Dhabi, Cultural Foundation, the Louvre Museum, Louvre Abu Dhabi, when Al Ain, sites like Al Ain Oasis, Qasr Al Muwaiji, Al Jahili Fort, and the Al Ain Palace Museum has also resumed their operations. So we're very excited about that. So the guidelines which require each site to operate at only 40% visitor capacity to begin with, which will help eventually all cultural sites to follow the requirements that will support the visitor experience across the cultural sites and spaces. Now, if you can move to the next slide, please. As I briefly mentioned, the exciting news is that UFC, the world's premier mixed martial arts organization, and if you don't know, we have signed a contract, 5-year contract with them last year, and the first year has been very successful. Our department early in June has announced that a much anticipated UFC flight events will be held in Abu Dhabi Yas Island, which is one of the Emirates' most popular leisure, shopping, and entertainment destination. And UFC Fight Island event will be aired. It will not be attended open to public, but it will be aired live on global broadcasters around the world and on pay-per-view in select markets. And it's really, really exciting news for us. If you can move to the next slide, please. So you will notice we have a lot of initiatives that we are doing in Abu Dhabi, and one of these is that we have launched earlier in May of a Safe and Clean certification program, a first of its kind in the region, and which seeks to again uplift and standardize the cleanliness and hygiene levels across all businesses and organizations in tourism sector. And as a leader in tourism, we have an essential role to pave the way for tourism industry players and set standards that suit our consumers. So through this tourism board-led program, we hope to boost the confidence of consumers when considering Abu Dhabi as a tourism destination. So if you can move to the next slide. This is also very exciting. We have our virtual exploration platform called Stay Curious, which is providing audiences worldwide with original education and entertainment content in one comprehensive hub. Stay Curious invites all the explorers across the globe to reconnect with their passion for learning and discovering through 5 pillars of content, which are set to be complemented with even more experiences in the future. For example, those 5 pillars include stay adventurous, stay indulgent, stay enlightened, stay creative, stay entertained. So it's very comprehensive hub. If you can move to last but not least slide. I just wanted to quickly also mention that Etihad Airways is a home, Abu Dhabi is a home of Etihad Airways. It's a national airline of UAE, which has 5 gateways from North America, including New York City, DC, Chicago, LA, and Toronto. Announced on June 15th, limited non-stop flights to and from Abu Dhabi and Chicago, and Abu Dhabi and New York. Plus, they have also launched amazing Etihad Wellness program in the beginning of this month. So they have been doing an amazing job in terms of assuring the safety and cleanliness of the crew of the future consumers as well. So looking at these great initiatives that we have launched in Abu Dhabi positions us strategically in the market and showcases that the destination we're adapting successfully with the current shifts in the industry caused by this pandemic, and we see the bright future built on the foundation of collaborative work with our stakeholders and partners. Like, for example, we are working closely with Dubai and Expo together. So thank you so much, and we are waiting for everyone to come visit our Emirate.
Thank you very much, Natia. That was very helpful. We have a few questions coming in. Please keep them coming because we will get to them. We have 2 more presentations and then we take your questions. So I'm now inviting Turab Salim to please join me on camera. Turab is going to be talking about the future of tourism in the UAE, and he is also a hospitality expert. So he might be able to give us a bit more insight on that. Turab, are you with us?
Thank you very much, Lynn.
Perfect.
Great to be part of NYU family. Thank you. I'm going to give a bigger picture on more on a macro picture of UAE hospitality. I will share a very brief past where we were present, a very quick one, and future is where I'm going to spend some more time in it. Next slide, please. This is just to show that how big is tourism in the country. That is around 12% GDP is related to travel and tourism. This 11% jobs in the country are related to travel and tourism. Overall visitor impact is around 141 billion local currency, which is 10% of the GDP. Dubai internationally, the visitors reaching to Dubai yearly is 16 million, which is one of the top in the world, among the top destinations. Number of hotels, 717 for one city. To have this much shows how big is the industry. Around 118,000 rooms in the city. It shows you it is among the top 10 cities in the world that can take these many visitors at any given day, which makes it more attractive for tourism. Next slide, please. This is the same little bit comparison with the international market, where Dubai stand is the fourth biggest tourism destination in the world in terms of arrivals. So that tells you the impact of how such a pandemic can have an impact on cities like these. Next slide, please. This shows the overall visitor spending is one of the top cities in the world with 30 billion spent on a $1 billion yearly basis. So this is how heavy is the impact on the economy, overall economy that tourism has. This just shows you from this comparison. Next slide, please. Dubai airport is one of the, with the heaviest traffic in the world, is the third most busiest airport in the world. And keeping in mind, this is old airport and the new one is coming with the Expo 2020. These numbers are restricted due to the present airport can't take a capacity. So the new airport, which will be one of the biggest airport in the world, it will change the whole, these numbering will go, number right now 90 million will go in a different direction once the new airport, which is opening along with the, it's already open, but it's going to open remaining part of it along with the Expo 2021. Next one, please. Emirates airline, which is the main, basically it plays a main role in lifting the tourism in the country. Is Emirates airline, which has linked the country to the rest of the world, and is one of the top airline in the world since its inception until now. It is among the top 10. So this is just a quick one to show you how in every, there is, I believe, another slide, next one, which shows the conference and meeting business. Yeah. And Dubai is among the top 10 meeting exhibition destination in the world. And every year it's ranked, it has improved its rank. And same challenges here that this rank can go much higher is the capacity issue. Because the existing conference facilities are a bit restricted and the new one are opening along with the 2021 Expo. After that, Dubai will be among the top, even further improve from this rating, because upcoming facilities are huge and enormous. Next, please. And so that was past and where we stand, how we are among one of the biggest player in the international travel and tourism industry. Is it airline? Is it number of rooms? Is it visitors? Is it spending? But this slide shows the bigger you are, the heavier is the impact. That tells you that all of a sudden this COVID has a huge impact on the world. You can look at this travel pattern. The overall airlines, they literally stopped or they reduced their capacity to 90%, which has a direct impact on tourism. Without airlines, tourism can't go far. Airline is like a heart. It's like it supplies, it's like the blood to the rest of the body. Same with the airline. It supplies, connect you to the world. If airline slows down, everything else slows down. So there is, until the airline comes back, tourism can't go far. So airline must come back first. And the impact here is shows 74%. This includes most of this load is cargo load. Passenger load is very less, which has a major impact because which shows that airlines are literally crippled or they're not active, which has to be activated in order to have any hope to bring back the economies in all the countries back. Importance of this, you can gauge it from Lufthansa is recently, we've been further 20 billion pumped in, American Airlines, over $20 billion pumped in. So everybody's trying to push the airlines to get back the economy to its feet and the tourism to its feet. So airlines are that important to bring back the tourism back. Airline is the vital sign. So this is where every government, every region is focusing on to get back the airline at the moment. Next slide, please. So the future, I believe, is this pandemic has forced us to reset. It's like a reset of our society. Especially hospitality, we are not very quick to reset to make changes, but this pandemic has forced us to think differently and reinvent ourselves. So we have no choice but to change. And now you're gonna see how in the coming slides that how this pandemic has forced us to change for the good. This is immediate future, what is happening in the UAE. So as I said, the airline is recently one of the first airline to get activated. But people will be hesitating to travel initially. So first thing that starts under these circumstances is daycation. Daycation means within the country, within the same city, you have facilities which you utilize it and enjoy yourself. Staycation, also overnight stay within the city, within the same. So you avoid going too far, switching too many transport facilities. So you stick to that area. That is opening up in UAE already. Third is internal travel, which will it opened up, but it will soon. There are still some restrictions. It will open up more in the coming week. So that's the third step, which is going to go systematically. Then people will start internal travel. Next step will be regional. Neighboring country will open to each other. Where the borders are closed right now, we can't travel much around in the neighboring countries, but it will start, it will open up more and more. Right now it's very limited. And the last thing which will take place is international travel, because that's where people hesitate to do, to get back to normal life. It is not going to happen soon. First is internal, then regional, then comes the international travel to open up and get back to normal. So it's going to take some time. And in international travel, the first people who will jump into it are there will be amazing deals initially. People want, like in the hotels in UAE, there are some deals nobody can even dream of. 5-star hotels at the rate of nobody can think of, with the breakfast inclusive, with the beach access, with everything. Same thing will happen with international travel. It will be deals with the airline and the hotel together. Deal will be amazing. So people who are, looking for such deals, they are the one who are going to jump first. And the second one, adventurer, who wants to, they can't stay in their home. They want to be the first one to go and check out the places. They will go. The commercial travel, the corporate travel will come late, because all the big giants, they want to play safe. They don't want to take a risk. So that will come at a later stage, not soon. Next slide, please. How are we going to reopen? How the coming days are going to look like? So I will just run through some bullet points for your understanding. So corporate segments, which I mentioned, is going to come late because they don't want to take a risk. Meetings, exhibition, big events is going to take some time because you don't want to gather too many people, big numbers, big events in one place. It's riskier. Nobody wants to take this riskier. That's why this risk. That's why all the big events around the world are moved to in the future for next year. So this is because this is the biggest generator of travel and tourism business. It is not going to happen immediately, but it will be the next step to take place. Cruise business, again, having tons of people in one place under one roof interacting with each other is not going to happen soon. It will take its time when there are much safer environment. Leisure will start quickly because people are already inside the homes, they are bored, they want to go out. So internal, domestic, within the cities, this leisure will start quicker than anything else. As I mentioned earlier, domestic will start first, then international, regional, and then comes the international. Destination who wants to get back to their feet, they want to prove themselves with the certification and show to the world they are the safest. People want to, for the time being, until vaccination is, the immunization is there, until the vaccination is done, people will be very curious if the destinations are safe or not. So as UAE is already doing every possible efforts to make it, clean itself, sterilize itself, it will help a lot. So any other destination, they want to come up and have some tourists, have some tourism, they need to be show they are safe. They need to show the measures they have taken. So this is very, very important to do these certifications, to show you are a safe destination, safe hotel, safe business activity. It's must. Another, the older people in a near future, they're going to avoid traveling. They are a big chunk of the international travel and tourism. They're going to hesitate traveling. They're going to play safe. It's going to take some time until this segment will come back. Number 10 point is the most important in my opinion. Immunization needs to be done if we want to get back to travel and tourism. Hospitality is all about mingling, jiggling, getting together, enjoying life, doing a business together. And doesn't matter how many efforts we put into terms of different restrictions or different measures we take it, until immunization is not done, to get back to the feet, it's not gonna be that easy. So immunization has to happen. The quicker we do, the quicker we come back to the business. So it's gonna be like a passport. In the future, you wanna travel and reach to the world, you got an immunization and there's a proof of it, you can travel quicker, safer, faster. It will be a norm tomorrow, that certification to ensure you are immunized from this pandemic, from this disease, from this virus. Next step, please. Next slide. This is F&B business. UAE is a house of F&B. It's one of the biggest hub in the world after New York and London and Hong Kong. We are among the 4 top destinations in the world. With the number of restaurants we have, diversity we have it, all the Michelin star chefs in the world. We have more Michelin star guys in the world than diversity-wise than any other country. Hong Kong, New York, London, we have more diversity, UAE, in terms of F&B, and it's one of the biggest hubs. This pandemic has hit the F&B business badly, and now people are trying to figure it out how to get back to his feet. So footfall in this business will reduce, and it will not come back soon. It will take time to get back footfall. Many F&B businesses will be merged or shut down. It's already happening, and it will happen it will keep happening by the end of the year. It's a sad time for the industry. Small and medium business will struggle more because of the financial weakness. The smaller and mid, you are, the quicker you will have hit by the disaster. Bigger will stay longer, they will survive. Way of doing business will change. The situation has forced us to do things differently, which I will share in a coming slide. There will be more delivery business. Delivery business will further flourish, and it will force us to change our habits, and we will adapt to some, these deliveries coming home. Those even who never wanted to have it, they are forced now to have it. Cost of operation will go higher than before. So we need to look for new ways to cut some other cost and add some other new cost. F&B and restaurant has suffered more than many other businesses because this is all about hospitality. So they are one of the major sufferer in this industry. Returns on this business will never be same again, and especially in UAE. I am having restaurants. My colleagues are having restaurants. I oversee restaurants. We used to have 2-digit returns. They're not going to be any more 2-digit, double-digit returns. It's going to be tough to get returns in this business. Next page, please. I read all these different fancy ways to protect yourself from this virus, but in my opinion, it's not practical, it's not affordable, it's not sustainable. And hotel business, our margins, our restaurant business margin are so slim, we can't go into these things and then wait for the, invest on these and open up with such a limited capacity. It's just not practical. So people talking about it, some have done it, but I don't feel it will go on a bigger scale, and it is sustainable and affordable for this business. Next slide, please. The hospitality business is going to evolve for sure. Some of the key points where it's going to evolve. Overall in the hotel and other businesses, there will be a lot of merger and acquisition happening right now as we're talking about. Everywhere in the region, there are mergers. Bigger guys are taking over smaller and weaker guys. The return on investment in the hospitality will never be same again for a long time. We had one of the best ROIs in the world. They are gonna go different now. They're gonna go low. The development with the mixed use components, i.e. hotel with the conference facilities, with the retail section and with the apartments, they are the one who will come back quicker. They are the one who has more resilience to this one. Pure hotel, pure rooms will struggle. Hotels will, yes, in UAE has a tradition to have number of 5 to 6, 7, 8 restaurants in one hotel, which will go down dramatically. No hotel will be able to run its own restaurants. Restaurant business from the hotel will be taken away. This pandemic will force the hotel to give this to specialists. And they will either rent it, lease it, or give it out to third party, or reduce the number of restaurants, because it's a very special business. Hotel GMs and operators can't manage it the way they used to manage in the past when the market was very lucrative. So they will struggle a big time to run it by themselves. They have to give it out. As well, not only restaurant, hotels will give spa to specialist companies, health club to specialist company, retail to specialist company. Hotel will stick to rooms, which will even a big struggle for the hotel. They're going to get away from all, and they're going to bring the third parties in terms of investment, in terms of operations to run health club, spa, and all those. UAE has a trend to run its own everything. Because the labor was cheap, now things are gone very differently. We will now outsource our services. We are going to outsource our marketing. We give it to specialists, social media to third party, accounting to third party, our laundries to third party, bakery, valet, security, all to third party. This is going to happen in the coming 2 to 3 years. You see, everybody's going to outsource these. This will be a new norm. Only run your rooms, do your core business. Everything else, give it to third party because it's cheaper, economical, it's lighter to operate in such fashion. Technology-wise, we are one of the worst one in among other industry to adapt to the technology. But this scenario has forced us to adapt to the technology. We are going to go deep into technology. Same like airlines, there will be no check-in, there will be no checkout. Your key will come to your phone or through via online. That key will open do your check-in. That key will open the door of the room. You will go to your room without seeing people. Doesn't matter you are 5-star or 6 or 4. This is going to be a norm in the coming days because we cannot run the hotel with the manning we are having now. Next one is, this is few more trends. Cash transaction will reduce dramatically. Online payments will be more in. Like many in the industry, we are late in this, but that's the way to go about. Physical check-in, check-out, as I said, will disappear. It's all online check-in, check-out. Menus will go all online, less and less paper. Personal interaction with the hotels, because of the manning and high labor costs, we have no other choice but to take different measures and go with the lesser and lesser staffing and payroll, which will force us to have limited interaction. Amenities, it will be all automated with the new AI systems. A guest check-in, you check in, your name is already in the system, room is going to adapt itself, its temperature, its music, its TV channels, its overall ambience, the curtain movement, all will come to the level that you like to have in your previous visit or in your, as per your profile. Automated set, so you don't need to go back and forth and ask for a new channel, ask for a temperature to go up and down. Your mood will be linked to AI system and it will automatically do it. It started and it's going to go more and more in the future. Airline have already started. Look at Dubai Airport, Abu Dhabi Airport, Sharjah Airport. I travel all of them. From taxi drops me and reaching to the plane, there is no interaction with anybody. Nobody checks me in, nobody looks at my passport. I go to the plane, all through scanning my phone. No immigration at all. So that's the new norm, gonna go all over the place, all automated, all AI. Next one, please. Some change in habits. This is will force us to have some change in habits. Outsourcing of services will take place dramatically. Companies will do less and less of their own. They will focus on the core business and other side activities. They're going to outsource it to the specialists, which will be cheaper, quicker, efficient, and easier. Remote working, which was not imagined by many people, it will be easier to do it in the future, and more people will adapt to it, because this pandemic has forced many of us to learn and to do it in a very efficient manner. E-commerce will flourish because now we are getting used to it. We are forced to do it. It's becoming a habit, and it's cheaper, quicker, easier. We're going to adapt to it, and we're going to do it in the future. E-health is happening now, where we all forced to go online to get answers on our health challenges. It's going to be a norm now because we're getting used to it. If 1 year we are forced to do it, it will become a habit. Older segments, they will in the future for a year or so until immunization is done, you will not see them much around, and it's not safe for these to move around. Next slide, please. That's an interesting slide. On a long run, Dubai and UAE will be an international tourist hub because we have already reached to that level. We can only go higher. It will stay there. Doesn't matter which pandemic is there. Doesn't matter how tough it is, we will be there. We will be among the top destination in the world. We will reinvent this. The beauty with this destination is every pandemic, we reinvent and we correct ourselves and we go to the new, every challenge, we reinvent ourselves and we go to next level. So this, again, pandemic is going to push us towards a new creativity and innovation, which is already taking place. As a country, as a destination, we will come out stronger out of it. What makes us difference is our quick decision making. The difference between us and the rest of the places developed is doesn't matter how deep are the crises, the quicker decision makings will take us out. Doesn't matter what it is. So it's not a technology, it's not we are the smartest on earth, it's not we have too much money, too much oil, no. It's the quickest decision making. Today you make a decision, tomorrow you give it to tourism authority, third day they implement it. It's that fast and quick. So leadership decision making is always at the forefront to bring this destination to the top of the world or among the top of the world.
We have a couple minutes left, so if you just want to quickly wrap it up so we can go to the next presentation. Sorry about that.
No, I got 4 points left and that's the last slide. So Emirates will play a vital role in making it a stronger destination. It is one of the key aspects of UAE because it's always the safest destination, and that makes it always popular among tourists. Our infrastructure here is state of the art, which will never let it go down in the coming many years to come. Hard to match such infrastructure that they have. Um, um, Dubai is becoming bigger and bigger in terms of its MICE and exhibition, which will elevate the overall city to a next level in terms of tourism activities. In the last is the marketing activities of UAE. Dubai is one of the best one. It's hard to match it, which will always bring it from the crisis. It projected in a very positive manner. So a marketing machine of Dubai it does magic to the destination. So which way it is doing it, and I believe it will bring it back to quicker out of this pandemic. Thank you for tolerating a few extra minutes, Lane. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Turab. That was very comprehensive. And it's great that you also touched upon the event sector, because that leads to our next and final speaker. Expo 2020 was going to be one of the hallmark events of the year. Of course, some changes had to be made there as well. So I would like to invite Tariq to now join me, please, so he can explain to us what the plans are for Expo 2020 going forward. Tariq, are you there?
Yes, hi Lynn, hi. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you everyone for participating today. Unfortunately, my videos I think is not working, but anyway, I'm gonna continue with this. First of all, definitely this global situational crisis impacted not only countries, but impacted as well companies and mega events such as, for example, the Expo 2020 Dubai. Therefore, if we go to the next slide, the government of the United Arab Emirates asked actually, and the organizing committee of the expos, which is the Bureau International des Expositions, the BIE, to postpone the Expo 2020, which was going to be held this year actually to next year. So the organizing committee accepted, and thanks to that, our new dates are from the 1st of October 2021 to the 31st of March 2022. And also, Expo 2020 Dubai will continue to be used as the official name of the event. And I think now, more than ever, a world fair makes sense after the COVID-19 era, and to bring all these countries, all these people together and shape up the new future for everyone. If we go to the next slide, I'm gonna just share with you a couple more updates about the Expo and excite you a little bit about it. First of all, everyone knows that expos or world fairs happens every 5 years around the world. And you guys in North America, you already organized some exciting world fairs in the past, such as, for example, the New York 939 World Fair, where they showcased for the first time the TV broadcasting. Or, for example, the one in St. Louis in 904, where they showcase, for example, the ice cream cone as an innovation. So it's practically, we're going to continue with that legacy. And this is the first world fair happening in the Middle East, South Asia, and Africa region. If we go to the next slide, I'm going to share with you some exciting records, actually. Before opening or launching this expo, we already have some record. The second record is practically the 192 countries participating for the first time in this expo world fair. It never happened before in the history of the expos. Practically, we're gonna have the entire world at the same place. The third one is definitely the first world fair where we're gonna have one country, one pavilion, which means that every country gonna build their own pavilion to showcase their human brilliance, their innovation, technology, but also their heritage. And of course, the last thing is the 6 months with the 182 days of festival and fun. If we go to the next slide, I'm gonna tell you that every world fair has a theme. Our theme is connecting mind, creating the future. However, the government of the United Arab Emirates decided to have 3 sub-themes in order to help the countries who are participating to showcase their innovation technology. For example, we have to sustainability. I think it's self-explanatory, right? It's about how we protect the environment. It's about the climate change. And mobility is a very important topic because it's practically anything about the movement of people, movement of data, or movement of product. Here, countries, they will be able to talk about the space mission, logistics, to e-commerce and tourism. Last but not least is the opportunity, which is related to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, such as, for example, gender equality or and others important, of course, goals. If we go to the next slide, apologies, it's quite educational, but it is very important because the site of the expo itself is developed to showcase these 3 sub-themes. As you can see on your screen, you have 3 colored areas, the orange, the blue, and the green. So every area represents 1 sub-theme. And every area represents the district where the countries who selected to showcase their innovation, and they're one of the sub-themes that I already mentioned, they will be located there. So in the middle, you see like a dome. That dome, we call it Al Wasl Plaza. Al Wasl is the old name of Dubai, but also it's in Arabic means connection or connectivity. It's practically the heart of the expo. It connects everything together. And the main entrance, we have the Dubai Exhibition Center, one of the largest exhibition center we're gonna have in the region. And we have, of course, the main metro route, Route 2020, which is the largest metro that we're gonna have in Dubai. You'll be able to come from Dubai Marina in only 20 minutes to the main entrance of the Expo 2020. If we go to the next slide, I'm gonna just share with you some further information about the Expo. First of all, this is an amazing image of the last event that we hosted at the Al Wasl Plaza. Actually, we celebrated that we closed the Al Wasl Plaza, which is an incredible masterpiece. And that is a projection because Al Wasl Plaza is not only the dome or the heart, but also is a venue where we're gonna do daily basis celebrations. And we're gonna project anything in 360 degrees. So if you're flying on top of Al Dome Plaza, you'll be able to see what is happening inside. In the picture, we have Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, which are the rulers of Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And of course, that represents the unity of the United Arab Emirates together in order to push for this successful event. If we go to the next slide, it's practically, I'm gonna tell you, I'm sure you're gonna ask me, but what we'll be able to see at the expo or the World Fair? I'm gonna tell you 3 things. First of all, you'll be able to see the world, 192 country pavilions. You'll be able to go to the Costa Rica pavilion, learn about how sustainably they are protected their forests and jungles, and then taste some amazing local dish and go to the Japan pavilion and learn about the latest technology and have some sushi and go back to the Spanish pavilion or Spain pavilion and learn about their heritage, the Arabic heritage, the Muslim heritage. It's gonna be incredible. The second one is the 60 events per day that we're gonna have in a daily basis during 6-month period, 60 events per day. And the last but not least is the 200 dining experiences from bars to coffee shop that we're gonna have in the site. So you'll be able to taste everything in the same place. If we go to the next slide, please. It's practically, I'm gonna skip this one because of time constraints. And I'm gonna just tell you that 192 country pavilions, and I want to show you just a couple of country pavilions that I have in mind. If we can go to the next slide, Michelle, please. We will be able to see the host country pavilion, which is this one actually. This one is the United Arab Emirates Pavilion. It's the largest country pavilion that we're gonna have in the site. And practically the shape of it is like a falcon in flight, which is the national emblem of the UAE. And the roof are like feathers, which are the solar panels actually that gather, of course, the solar energy. Inside you'll be able to learn about the culture and heritage of the UAE, the 7 Emirates, but also some exciting innovation that's gonna showcase to the world. If we go to the next slide, I think you'll be able to see actually the pavilion of the United States, of course, which is located at the Mobility District. Here, practically, we have 13 leading American organizations that they created an amazing journey within this pavilion. And you will be able to learn about the concept and technologies that the US is going to be showcasing to the world. From the Hyperloop, I'm sure you heard about it, that will be, of course, connecting Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and you'll be able to travel instead of 1 hour, 1 hour 30 in only 12 minutes from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. So they're going to be showcased for the first time at the United States Pavilion. If we go to the next slide, I'll be able to give you, the Canal Pavilion, of course, is located in the Sustainability District. It's practically Canada is going to be showcasing the Arabic architectural elements and symbolic representation of the strong cultural and economic ties that Canada and the UAE has. It's practically a 360 degrees as well, lighting experience that you'll be able to see, of course, and experience while visiting this amazing pavilion. If we go to the next slide, please. This is just some country designs, pavilions that we have already. Just to tell you that 192 countries, every country gonna have their own designs and shapes, and they're gonna be creating and creating their entertainment and journeys. For example, Emirates is our official airline partner. They're gonna have their own pavilion as well, where they're gonna showcase the future of aviation. You'll be able to learn about the latest airplanes that, of course, Emirates is gonna be putting in the market very soon. If we go to the next slide, please.
Tariq, have we lost you?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Very good.
If we go to the next slides, we can skip these 2 slides, please. Thank you. One more time. And it's practically to tell you 192 countries, guys. So every country gonna be celebrated their national day. So you can imagine during 6 months, every country selected one day, symbolic day, to celebrate the national day. So Expo or World Fairs is about countries, is about people. So we're gonna bring that back, of course, in Expo 2020 Dubai. 60 events per day. What are these events? We have music shows, theater, star performances, comedy night, dancing, daily basis, from daily processions to daily parades, for amazing shows that we're going to be doing in Al Wasl Plaza with those incredible projections that I showed you earlier. And everything is included in your Expo ticket. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is the first World Fair happening in winter. All the previous World Fairs, 169 of them, were of course organized during summer. So you know the winter is very, very pleasant in UAE. So practically we're gonna celebrate some amazing celebration that we never experienced or, organized or celebrated in the past in a World Fair, such as, for example, the Diwali Festival of Lights, which is an Indian, of course, very important celebration, the UAE National Day, which is the 50th anniversary of the UAE, Christmas, you'll be able to discover how 192 countries celebrate their Christmas, New Year's Eve, Chinese New Year, and of course, the International Women's Day. Also, we have some thematic weeks, which are business-focused events and activities and seminars that we'll be organizing at the Expo. And as I mentioned earlier, everything is included in your ticket. Please, can we go to the next slide? Thank you. Yep. Practically, if you remember, I mentioned 200 food and beverage experiences. Here, we're going to see a lot of futuristic cuisines and gastronomy, from robotics to augmented reality experiences. If we go to the next slide, I'll be able to share with you some exciting pavilions that we have. For example, our collaboration with the Master Chef, the experiential TV dining concept, was practically we're going to have Master Chef champions from around the world coming to cook for you, but also to have some exciting global championship and challenges. And you will be able to as well to participate at in the mystery box challenge. Next, please. And just to finalize, where is located? It's practically between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's very strategically located because practically you're expecting a lot of people, and Dubai itself will not be able to cater for everyone. So we are using the airports that we have between, practically the distance between the airports of Dubai and Abu Dhabi to make it happen. So practically from Dubai International Airport, you'll be able to be in Expo in 45 minutes, and from Abu Dhabi International Airport, you'll be able to be in Expo in 60 minutes only. And last but not least, in the next slide, I'm gonna just mention two things here. Is the general admission ticket. One-day ticket is only $32, and you have access to everything, including the entertainment, the fun, and the business. But also we have amazing concessions, senior citizens above 65 years old, and children below 5 years old, and persons of determination or special needs. All of them, they go for free. So they access the Expo 2020 for free. Of course, we have 50% discount for students and youth below 17 years old. So the same thing applies, of course, for the 3-day ticket, and the rest of the tickets are mainly for local and regional residents who's gonna be going back more than one time to the Expo 2020. I hope that sees a small summary about the Expo 2020 Dubai. We are super excited, and hopefully we'll be able to welcome you guys, all of you, next year to UAE. Thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you, Tarek. I'm a big Expo fan, so I can't wait. I actually met my husband at the Expo. Small secret for you all. Unfortunately, we've kind of run out of time. So in terms of your questions, what we would like to do, Michelle lets me know that she can store them and we can get back to you via email. So that's what we would like to propose we do. Before we hand over, I would love to just point out the Violet Network, which is a great way to contact and connect with your fellow alumni. Just go to violetnetwork.nyu.edu and you'll be able to create a profile and connect with people in different schools and people in your own school. We also have some social media links, so please do reach out. We're so sorry we can't get to your questions, but we know everyone's got a busy day to get to. Stay in touch. We will be in touch if you ask a question as well. We wish you all the best. Stay well, stay safe, and we hope to see you at the next one of our events. Thank you very much.